Right, guys, come on in, join the fun. Just show you what I've got first, so you can go and get these if you want. You don't need a brush like that. I'm just putting these on here. I've got some other stuff here to show you what I've already done, and my star of the show. Whoa, whoa, oh, I'm in love. I'm in love with these. I'm in love with these. Right, I'm in love with these. I am. I'm in love. And they very kindly at Highlight Crafts have given us a code. So I've put the code on, it's Lou15, and if you get the collection or however they set it up, they'll do it for you. Well, it's already done, they're brilliant. Then it will be good to go. Right, so these are the colours I've chosen, nice and bright. I've got a black as well. I'm not going to use a black, but there's absolutely brilliant colours. I've got a white tin and gesso. So yeah, just go and get some paint because I know you're going to love doing this. And I'm going to take you through some halfway, and then we're going to do another class where we're using it on a different surface. So I'll just show you. So hopefully we've got some people streaming on this one. We've got some people on Facebook, on my group, and on Jammers. So it should be it's streaming to 3 places at the moment: YouTube, Jammers, and Louise Withers. Any of those will have that link on. And if you look at the description below, I like saying that. Sound proper cool. Well, no, I could never sound cool. If you look at the description wherever it is, somewhere, then you will find a little code. Lou, LOU 15, all capitals. And then you can pretend you've not spent anything, but you get money off, so it means you can buy a bit more. Does that make sense? Right, just going to get some water, guys. Right. We're doing some painting today because I've really been getting into neurological pathway painting, and I really like the idea. It's very similar to what we do. So although I'm not calling this neurological pathways, I could, but there again, I'm not, I'm not into sort of robbing someone else's ideas. So let's have a quick look. Hi, Pam. Hi, Angela. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Carol. Carol, Linda, Rachel. Hello. So that's them. If we switch over into junk journal, I'm like this. I've got no mouse. I'm doing it with an airbrush before. How ridiculous am I? Um, so let me just check that everyone's all right. So, yeah, I mean, if you look at the group work, you'll see that the lovely, very good friend, long time now, isn't it, Jill? Jill Cowan has done one. It's superb. I love the way she's adapted that. That's inspired me totally. And then Teri did a live the other day on a teapot, and that just so inspired me. Terry likes it. I just thought I've got to do that. So this is a bit of a shout out to all of them who are doing it. And hopefully, hello, Linda. The painting one you can do without the second part, but you're going to need to watch this because there's going to be 3 videos this week where we're going to work. I might have to change the time slightly because it's not fair on the other half because he's on holiday, so it's not fair. Listening to this, what waffle this me waffling on. So I've got a tealy colour, turquoise, and I'm using Cadence. This is the premium hybrid. Sorry, the premium. The beautiful new colours as well. This is one of the multi-surface hybrid acrylics, which until recently I'd heard about, but I was like, well, not too sure what they are or what they do. And I've been using them, and I really love them. I'm not just saying that. I wouldn't use them if I didn't love them. So I'm using a crimson and warm orange, a lemon yellow, which I'm going to mix because I need it warmer, a turquoise, I've got a crimson red, a white, Oh, what? Look at that. Now, I'm sure it says Fisket Yesil. So I'm saying lime. Okay, just in case. And we've got fuchsia, and we've got two fuchsias. Look, there's a newer one, a smaller one, but I got given that one, so I'm using that. But I can't wait to show you. Right, what we're going to create is very simple, very simple. You don't need to have all these colours. If you want, you can break the colours down to these. That'd be it. So you don't need all of them. It's just me being me. Okay, so a bit of white. If you add white to these, you're going to get more of a chalky feel. So it's entirely up to you what you want to create. So the first thing we're going to do is we need some water, which I've got. I haven't got any kitchen roll. Oh, bear with me. I've got to go and get some kitchen roll because I'll slap it on all over. So kitchen roll. Right, okay, so a water bottle, which not needed, but it does help. Right, so get yourself comfortable. I want you to pull your chair up properly. I'm not having you slouching. Both feet on the floor, please. Both feet on the floor. There is an important reason for this. Don't tuck your toes up. Put your feet on the floor. If you can't reach, then just lightly try. Put something under your feet so you're not swinging your legs, okay? There is a reason for it, honestly. I'm not just being a nutter. So again, using the cadence paints, which I am very impressed with, absolutely impressed with, and you know I love my paint. I'm going to damp down this page. Now I'm using my sketchbook. I'm using the Strathmore Visual Journal, but I also love my Fabriano. So damping down the page. Okay, damping down the page. Not too much. Just give it a bit of a, I don't even, can you see? It's like a, like a lady puts perfume on. Well, maybe not a lady because there's a bit too much on there. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose a light colour. So you get your white, or I'm going to use a tinting base. Now, I've always used tinted bases, so don't worry about it. It's nothing, you know. Oh, I need to mix it. I didn't mix it. Oh, it's a new one, that's why. Tinted bases are the white. Do you know when you go and have your colours mixed? They put it into a white, a stronger white. Well, that's what all this is. So I've got an horrible brush. It's really tatty. So I'm just going to put, don't worry about any blobs. Now, I know you can't see that, but don't worry about the paint. This is a base, right? What I don't want is, because I've not gessoed the page, you see, not everywhere. I'm just going to load up areas. Now, if I just show you, can you see? Not everywhere, but I don't want it everywhere. Yes, Marcia. Hello, Marcia. Hi, Helen. Oh, Facebook users. Hello. Can you give authority? No, is that the word? Can you allow Facebook to show you? Put your legs down with us. See, trying to cross my legs again. It unnerves you. You're not comfy. Right, don't cross your legs. So I've got that. Now I'm going to pick out my first colour. I'm going to go in with a light colour, and there's a reason for this as well. Now, I've noticed with this paint, you don't need a lot. It's very creamy, very creamy. Now, that shouldn't come off, but knowing me, don't chance it. You want to keep your colours clean. Don't use a lot. And it comes with a blender and an extender, which make it into sort of a transparency glaze, which is an acrylic, which when you extend the paint, you're not watering it down, you're extending the paint. So the paint has a longer life, and it becomes, you can make it more of a transparency. The blender is something that allows colours to come together like that. I won't use it just in case you haven't got it, but it's there. I will use it along the next few days. I keep tucking my feet up. So I'm only, look, you don't need a lot. Normally I'd just shove this on my page, but I thought no, I'd be a bit more professional for you. So I've got the lime green, a teal. When I choose these colours, there's a reason for these, and that's because I go with, although I use as you all know, if you followed me or seen me or whatever, I do follow the light, the colour wheel a lot because it does help. Oh, see, you need, didn't, now that's not faux pas, you need to mix them. There we go. Because the binder, which is this clear liquid, right, is like this. So it's just that. That's all. Look at that. 5 minutes, look. 5 minutes. Look at the state of me already. Right. So anyway, I've got now, it's starting to dry off a little bit. Now, there's a rule of thumb with me, and that's 3s. So I'm going to put in 3 areas. I'm not thinking about it. I'm just laying it down. Now, bear in mind that your light areas always get a little bit of, shall we say, they get pushed, they get bullied by the other colours. So you need to put your lights first. So I'm just building up the 2 lights together. It doesn't look attractive at all. It looks awful, but it does. It should do. Okay. Now, normally I would say, and I am going to say, don't wet your brush. If you need to, you honestly, it's like I can't show you. It's like this. You're almost tickling the water. Look, like that. It's like I can't even find the water. Oh, there it is. Got the end in. Hardly any water. Look, because the water is extending your paint, but it's not making it thicker. It's making it thinner. And you're making a wash, and we'll go into washes when I carry on using it. I mean, I'm in love with this paint. So I'm going to give it another, because it's really humid here. So I'm going to give it another squirt. And that's just not a lot. Ladies' perfume. Oh, no, I'm going to go in with a pink. Now, I've got a little bit of red on this, but it won't matter. So I'm just going to pull in. Now, it still works in 3s. Right, so now, get rid of that on there. Go back with that, whichever colour you want, a little bit over the top. Not all over. What we're going to do is blend, right? So you get a clean brush, whatever brush you want. You can still use this if it's clean, and you just blend it out. And you're blending it, tickle. You tickle him, okay? You tickle him like that, and you cross him. You're making lots of nice crosses, and you sort of like this. Hold your brush seriously, not all the way down here like this. Really, I've got my feet up. Put your feet down. Hold it really up here, so you've got less, and you're tickling. And that water, although there's not a lot of water on that surface, it's allowing the movement. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my tinting base, which would be gesso or anything, and just going to add a little bit. It doesn't matter that it's colourless, because I've not mixed that properly. So you should do that first. Now look at the 3 areas that we've amassed colours in. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we need to sort of address this. We don't want to overkill all this, because we've got some nice colours. Let's go with it. Hello, Ellie. That's a lovely name. So I'm going to go with the turquoise. Now the turquoise is so strong. It's a stunning colour. I want to show you the colours you get with it. So be mindful. And if you put it on yellow, what you're going to get. Exactly, you're going to get green. So be mindful of that. Right, now, how little did I put on? So this is where the rule of 5s come in. It's all odd numbers, the rules of 5. Now, I have a little bit of white there, so it's pulling in the white. Go back, got that white there. I'm just going to add a little bit of white to it. And the reason for this is I don't want to kill the colour, but I want it to be cleaner. So I'm just going to tickle that. And I mean tickle. Can you see the green happening? Because the yellows. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Get a big fat brush. Get one of these. Tickle, tickle. But it has to be stiff. It's not a watercolour brush. You need an acrylic brush. And the reason for an acrylic brush is that it allows you to push the paint or pull the paint more. A watercolour doesn't. You have to swish it around a bit. So I'm going to go back in now, pick that colour up. See, I need a little bit more just to pull that across. And I'm going into the gaps. See, I don't want to cover that up. If I cover that up, it'll go for, now watch this, bit of this, right? and a bit of this. And you start getting these amazing mauves. Okay, which just sit. Now, all I'm doing is creating frames now. So I'm looking around. I've got this purple, which is the green, the teal, and the pink, and I'm creating frames. So you draw a line, and then bring the line out like an eyebrow, and then that. I've put a little bit of white on it. Now, if you don't like it, rub it out. It don't matter, honestly. These paints, I can rub them out, and I'm going to get a really good stain on the paper, which means it's good paint. Before you know, yeah, if you go on Palm, honestly, at Highlight Crafts, go straight to them and put in. They've got brand new sets. They've got the old one. They put Lou 15. I don't know how it works. It's all technology, you know. I'm dumb like that, but I do know that they've offered me, and I'm really pleased because that means a lot. That, you know, if I use it, I've got to believe in it. So now we've got this lime colour, and because it's such a beautiful soft colour, it allows others to come through. So it's one of them that we can create really special mixes of colours. Look at that. I mean, green and red. So let's look. We've got a really bright over the top. Oh, well over the top. Now I'm going to fill in the colours. Not going over too much because I don't want to build too much of a mix yet. But where there's distinct gaps, I'm going to put that in. Now what I'm going to do, this is when I clean my brush, okay? This is when I clean my brush. I don't really do it any other time. Now I've got my brush, a smaller brush, because I'm going to start blending. These are Lou brushes, as you know. I like to always have a pun. I've got Lou roll and Lou paper coming out. So Lou brushes. Right, so I've got this. I won't waste that. I'm just tight. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to soften this up. Now you can do this several ways. In fact, I might even do another one because I'm really enjoying this. And that's a little bit of water on it. So you're just sorting giving it a slide. And now I'm going to go in with a little bit of white on the colours, and it's going to allow me to blend, and I'll get some nice colours happening. And say this purple, which is really strong, I'm going to pull it out with the white. I'm going to allow the purples, allow the reds to go into each other. I'm going to keep cleaning the colour off. There's a reason for that, because you'll get mud. So let's go in with a white there, pull it out. A white here. And then, now if you don't like it, push it away. If it's too much, give it a dab so you've got some nice texture, and then pull. See here, we need a little bit more. So this is very old paint. It's off the market now, this paint, but I love it, and I bought it, so I'm not wasting it. So basically, I'm now going to tickle. So I go over very much. If there's hard lines that I don't like, I tickle it. Can you see how it's softening up? And there's no particular place, or I was going to start singing that. No particular place to go. There's no particular rhyme or reason. It's like, as long as it's not diagonal, there's only a reason that I love diagonal lines, diagonally. But I also know that when you're looking at your artwork, it can get incredibly confusing when your eyes sort of start to dance around. It's not good for you. It works against your artwork. So I'm going to put a little bit more white over it. It looks a bit horrible. So I'm going to put a little bit, and you can see it's still got lots of paint left. So I'm blending down these colours underneath. Now there's a reason for this. So I'm blending down these bright turquoise. I love it. No, I don't want to get rid of it. I'll show you why. Because I'm putting a bed down ready. for the underneath. So, got that. Looks atrocious. Looks atrocious. Look at that. It's like someone's had their dinner on it. But that's what you want. Now, what I'm going to do is just bring in the colour again. And blend in with my fingers. So, no harsh lines. Okay. Bring another one in here. Tiny bit more. Don't have to use your fingers. If you don't want, add white while I'm doing it. And we get some beautiful colours. Blend out. So, okay. Now, I've got enough blue on there. I'm going to go back. I've got no red. So, I'm going to chance a bit now with red, which will really darken it. So, I'm going to be a bit careful with the red. Don't want too much. So, the red, when you've got powerful, strong colours like this, you need to be mindful of what they're going to do to the colours behind it. So, just see how powerful that is. But you still want it, but you just want to be able to. So we've got some pink and some red together. And the reason they will go is because they're already on. Right? So we'll go back in with the yellow and get some nice oranges happening. Now you could go on forever doing this, seriously, you could just go on forever. And I literally do go on forever doing this. I've got one done, a real simple one. I'm going to run some white through it just a tiny bit now, just to get some what I would call, I'm going to mix some different colours now, and that's just using the white. Oh, excuse me, made you a bit seasick. So I'm going to pull in some white with the turquoise now, just to pull that colour in. Tiny bit under here. Too much. Take it off. Take it off. And you'll see the colours from underneath now. Ah, that's it. Done it. Soft. See how it's softening up, and I can still see colours, look. And I'm pulling back the colours. Now, if you hadn't put that layer down at the beginning, you won't get that effect. And you look at it like, ooh. But honestly, leave that to dry. Now, you do need to leave it to cure. You do need to leave that to cure. Because if you don't, all you're going to do is pull up the colour every time you work on it. So now, this is just, excuse me, that was my stomach having a bit of a wobble. All I'm going to do on this page is I'll never waste this. So I'm going to go in with a full colour now. And you can see there's a difference between no water on it. There's no water on this page. So I've not got that. But if I put the blender on, it would. Now I'm going to go in with that green because I've got some left. Now the red. The red and the teal make this another sort of purple. Which is a beautiful colour. I'm sorry I'm doing it this way now, you can't really see it. So the teal, the red, and it's, I tell you what this reminds me of. Picasso and Van Gogh did like a rainy day, and it reminds me of a rainy day, and that's in essence what I like to think, that shadows and rainy days, like on the high street, if that makes sense. Now this is a very dark one, only because there's no white in it and there's no colour underneath, so I've not got that sort of layered effect. I'm just going to clean my brush, because once it's sort of full up with, oh, and change it actually, once it's full up with the darker colours, you won't, unless you clean it and really dry it, it won't sort of allow the lighter colours through. So now I'm just going to put in some light colours. Again, brushing them on in areas. And it's dried that much now. I can do that without muddying the colours. So now what I could do is add a little bit of blender. Not a lot, you don't need a lot. And I'll make a very nice glaze for the background. So it's, how can I explain it? It's what you call it, it's extending the paint. And when I mean extending, what's happening is it's not changing the molecules in the paint. It's actually just putting more of the binder in it. I think it needs, I'll put all the colours on the top. I think it needs a little bit of yellow. This is where I just go straight on with this from the lid. Strong, isn't it? And this lightens it all together. Blend. See how you might like it stronger like this. But there is a reason for me showing you both, because then you've got options, just to show you how nice the paint is. So I'm happy with that. So we've got two backgrounds, okay? Two backgrounds. You need to let them cure. And then I've got a little one here that I've already done. Same thing. Very safe. I can't stand waste. That's disgraceful, me wasting that, but I don't want to stick my hands in it, and I normally do. So I'm just going to pull that up. The tip for me is never try and do it when it's wet, unless you have to. Just leave it to dry and then, you know, finger it off, like wash it off. Scrape it off, sorry, not wash it off. So now, okay, I was looking at the neurological lines that we can do. And this was on an old grey board. So you can see the colours we get. I didn't gesso that. So you can see that on craft card, it's darker at a base anyway, isn't it? But, you know, this can be done on all of them. It's been a long time since I've done painted backgrounds. I also did it on that as well. So I put a bit of mica in that. So you can do it. And this was Teri who influenced me to do this. I can't do it all today, though. So what they said is neurological lines about the pathways in your brain, okay? So the pathways in your brain, and you don't think about it. Well, it's very similar to Moodling. It's very, very similar to Moodling. You're just going to get your pens, let's see. But we're going to do it our way. I mean, it's absolutely amazing to go and find something new and exciting. And it's great to sort of use that as a starting point, or a diving, not a diving, about whatever, a bouncing board, platform, diving board, or whatever, one of them, and move on from it, make it your own. Yeah, Carol. I've put a big link on my Facebook page on all the three. I've put the highlight craft, so you just click on that and it goes to it. But use, you know, Lou 15, and that'll give you a little help. So what you can do with the neurological lines is just allow your brain to be free. Okay, so free it up, and you can chase the coins. But basically, at the end of the day, it's about you letting go, about you being in the moment and not allowing thoughts or anything to get in the way. So I thought we'd have a go together. Now I've been doing it, but unfortunately, all the sketchbooks are not here. So I'm going to use a 5. Now I don't know whether these pens are going to work on this. So it'll be first for me. I do know felt tips like Sharpies work. Okay, so the main rules I've found, that sort of the majority of them, is it has to go from side to side. Okay, and you allow them to happen. Okay, so there are a couple with coins, so I'll get some money. Now, you don't have to do it like this. Now, if I've got money in here, you'll be very lucky. It's probably at the bottom of my bag. I might have a couple of quid, but I don't think I've got. Let's see what's in here. Oh, we have. Right, okay. And different money makes different lines, apparently. I've not tried this one. This is new, so we'll do it together. We'll pull you down a little bit so you can see. It should be still in focus because I've made sure the camera's right. So, okay, you sitting comfy? No, it's not Create and Craft. It's Highlight Crafts, Marcia. Highlight Crafts. It's not Create and Craft. You won't get anything off that. Right, okay, so I've got my board and you put that on it, and we're now going to chase it from side to side. Now, some people say start in the middle, some people start at the end. But what we're going to do is I'm going to push it here. We'll see. And then see, I don't even know if this will work on here. I think you're going to see this better. Try this one. Yeah, you'll see that better. So I'm going to hold the pen at the end. Bring that here. Try and guide it to the other side. Right, cool. So now I've got a 20 pence piece. I'll start from here. So I'm just going to bring it up. You can't control it. It's not like I'm pushing it. Seriously, I'm not pushing it. It's just I'm trying to guide it and it's not allowing me to. It's oh, that's a nice straight one. Oh no, it isn't. Shut up. Right. Let's get a 50p now. What happens here? Oh, loving it. So the pound coin is cheeky. It really is. It's like a teenager. This pound coin is like a teenager. So, and right, so if you put him here, there. Right, can you see all these wiggly lines? Oh, hey. You see all wiggly lines now? I love them. Right, what I'm going to do now is strengthen them up. So I quite like the wobbly lines. So bear with me. I'm just going to go around the lines. That it's a bit like, find the line. You know when you see a string and you've got to follow it back? And these kids used to do those like little puzzles. You don't have to be perfect. Can you see now that one string is appearing? Now, I'm talking, so my neurological waves are still happening, but I won't, it's not as relaxed as it would be if I was not talking. Now, when I say make it a wibble or a wobble, if it's meant to be a wibble or a wobble, don't try and make it straight. Now, I can't always get these lines straight to where they belong. So I sort of, as long as I'm going over that's it, the lines per se, that's cool. Just gonna, is everyone okay? No one's late. You can't be late to this. Thank you, Marcia. That's the one. So in here, can you see how I'm going to get my fat pen because it'll be here forever. You'll be watching paint dry. Although I don't mind watching paint dry actually. So I'm just going to fill in. Some of them are a little bit bigger. So like that. You see how they're a bit fatter? And that's because of the wiggly line. Now, I am sure Piskarev, Yara, that's the guy that about 2014. He, see, it's too heavy in parts for me. I'm just going to do it in some parts. Yeah, that smells better. So what I'm doing then, where the bigger joins are, I'm putting this in, and then I'm not going over it with the pen, because it's just overpowering it, and I don't want it to be. Yeah, Piskarev, he wrote it to people's like, go away. I don't know if he wrote a paper on it, but it was right. Now there's another thing before we do this, and that's where the pathways join, like our brain. We're going to soften the edges, okay? So I'm just going to round the edges, so there's no hard areas. So here, can you see? I'm just going to pop this down and get my other pen again. The Uniball seems to write on everything, but I want it to remain sort of light and dark and soft and heavy lines. But oh, this is lovely. No hard angles. So what we could do then is, on another day, transfer it onto a plate like this, transfer it onto any object that we want. Now, I'm conscious that some people don't want to watch all this, so maybe when the live's over, you can always fast forward me or delete me or turn me off. But you make sort of like soft lines where they join. I suppose it's like neurons and things in your brain firing. Such a nice line. And this is for people who don't doodle, don't want to doodle, because not everybody wants to, or they say they can't. Well, I'm afraid to say this is doodling. Different form, but it's still doodling. So if I was to explain in detail, I'll just go on to the sketchbook just to show you what I mean by this, and it makes it a little bit clearer. Do you remember these? We're doing these. So it's about the neurological pathways, so to speak. So I'll just do a little one to show you. So it's like that, okay? So every time that meets there, it's going to have a softer element on it like that. Okay, so we've not got too many here, but we've got one here. So it's as simple as that. And then you'd sort of go over the line again, like that. Anywhere else there was joins, but then you could start to do the colours. So that's a little explanation of it. We've got this now, and then we'll do some work on it, because to me this doesn't have to end here at all. And I don't think it should. I think, as I said before, you are inspired by these things you see people do, and inspired is the word for you to go away and create your own, and make your mark on it. Because if you don't, then it's just a copy, which is great. That's how we all sort of learn, copying, but developing it is what you should do then. So we've got these neurological lines, and feel very chilled with this. I like the fact that there's thick and thin lines. I like the fact that the background, just, it might as well be white, one colour, monotone. It doesn't matter, because it's creating its own pattern, which I love. So I can see there's lots of unrounded corners. And I think if you look for stuff and think, oh, that's not round, that's not round, you'll start to sort of realise. Can you see how it's softening up now? If you've ever got, I tell you what this is good for. Now, I can't tell you that I'm not a doctor, but I have what they call white syndrome, white coat syndrome. So whenever I go into the doctors, you know, it's like my blood pressure go through the roof, but they leave me for a minute and I'm fine then. And it's a bit like that. This would take me back down to a softer place, so that my everything brought me down, my blood pressure, my anxiety, everything. So I think we could do with some softer lines here. I'm not too worried about shapes. I want it to be soft because we're going to moodle in them. Not all of them. I'm sure there's some other lines that people say, other sort of rules or regulations, but I'm not so much into that. I'm into sort of being aware of artwork and then making it my own. Don't really like the rules. The only thing I think about rules are great to learn, but then it's that you only learn them to break them. That's what I feel. I like that idea that there's a big junction there, so there's a big pathway where they all meet. So are we loving this idea, or have you done it before, Angela? Yeah. See, because some people, when they're placed with the idea of just starting a line, they're like, well, if you're trying to sort of push the coin around, it's different. Because you're pushing the coin around means that you sort of a purpose, haven't you? You've got a journey that you go on. Right, okay. I'm not going to do it all. I can't wait because we've managed to say that Teri, you must watch Teri Lights's stuff because she's got a great teapot on the go. It inspired me to do some work like that. So yeah, she's on this week. We've got some great people on this week again. And don't forget Matteo. He's got his daily challenge, which I've got another couple of days to catch up on. I'm loving it. I've got to thank him for bringing me back into the painting. Yeah, I've got some great sort of different people as well. You know, people who, for one reason or other, we might not have seen before, whether it's a different country or a different type of artwork. But yeah, oh, I love that. Really love that. And you could go one step further and really sort of, I think, make spaces very small. But I think that's entirely up to you. I'm going to go in with my big pen now and just see. I don't want it to be all the same, so I'm quite wary of, quite like the idea of dropping a pen on and off. I'm very, very honoured that people at Highlight Crafts are going to give me some codes for you, because, you know, you do need to know how paint works. You need to know whether should you buy it. And I think when you see it used, I know Stephanie does some amazing flowers with it. So, you know, and she said something many years ago, and I've followed it to this day. It's got to have more than one use. If it doesn't, then why buy it? No, that's not what she said. That's what I say. Her saying was, it's got to have 3 uses. And I've always remembered that, always, and I agree with it. Right, okay, so I really like that. I would do a little bit more. Do you not think? Now, you've got 2 options now. Ellie, right? Ellie, I'm using the Uniball and the Uniball writing pen, which I love. This is the eye. I've got the fine and the fat and the thin one. The fat one is a goldy colour. The thin one is a silver colour. I've got writing pens, expensive and cheap pens, but I must admit, I do like the drawing pens that I know they're going to write on. So test them all out first, and then I'm using a Puricolor, which is a Kuretake. So it's like a felt tip. So a Sharpie would be the same. All I'm going to do is just, you're going to take ages on this, because there's some little areas that you think they need colouring in. They need colouring in. Right, this is where I swap it a little bit. Now, it might not work. It might not. It might not. So the first thing I'm going to do, now, I have mentioned to wonderful people, I know, good friends, and about the use of white. I love white, but it's got to be a good white. And the white I use a lot is Dr. P.H. Martin, not Phil Martin, P.H. Martin, and it's called bleed proof. So what happens is the colour underneath doesn't show through. It's what the illustrators have been using for many years. So that the dye, like say it was bright pink, the bright pink would show up and bleed through, whereas it'd make pink, but where with the bleed proof it doesn't. So I'm really happy with that. So what do you think? Yeah. Now, I like to use stippling as a means of creating shade. Some people are scared of shade. It's a very easy thing to get right, but you need to know why you shade. Shade is when anything is over the top and creates a darker shade. So what's shade? Shade means darker with black. If you add black and white, it becomes a tone. If you use black and white together, and if you use white, it's a tint. Okay, so I'm adding shade by shading. So if you think it's in the shade, it means it's going to be darker. So the easiest way to do that is with dots or pointillism. Oh, the white pens. The white pens are on my Amazon page. I've got them on my storefront. If you look into my Amazon page, it's all on my Facebook page. If you click that up and get my profile, my link tree's there, and you've got all my little shops and things. Right. So I'm going to pick, I think, an area. Now, what you could do as another little intrigue is do it where the paints are. So not only have you captured your own shape generally without looking at the background, you could actually do one where you're manipulating it by colour. So instead, you're doing that. Now, I have got that in the sketchbook. I have got that sketchbook here. So, yeah, so I would wiggle my lines like with the colours. I prefer it like this, but so I'm going to get some impact, okay? Now here, I've got a line I've not done. I'm so glad that I chose to use a darker pen and a thinner pen and a fatter pen. It just makes sense. Right, so I've done that little bit there. Okay, there's nothing much here. So, right, dense dots. And I'm using it on the white, on the light colour, so that you get the actual more impact on it. So right, it looks awful like that. You see now, it looks awful. And this is a wet pen. By that I mean it's not absorbing because this is an acrylic layer, so it's not going into it. And then as you move away from the depth, less. So we're shading with dots. Now, it's a bit hard to see like that. So let me do it in my sketchbook for you. So first thing is, oh, I can show it you. The depth in there with the dots. Just started to do it in there. Can you see how the depth's in the wool? Just a few dots. That's a very fine one. But you would start really dark next to the line. And then, can you see how even that's darkening it up? And then just some shaded dots around. So the darker the dot, the more they are together, the finer the dot, the less it looks. I don't really think, you see here again a bit of dots, but no, not in that. There's been all sorts in there, but there's all sorts of, got some right rubbish in here, you're not seeing in here. But you can see how the dots work together. So now I could use this, it might be better with this. For the camera it is anyway. So if we pull them out and do a couple like that, right, but then interspersed, get it? See, and then you look at it and you think, oh, I need to bring that out a bit, so you can spend hours on it. So we've got a bit there. Sorry, I don't know. It's Facebook user who's just answered. Yes, this is my take on it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that I thought I could sort of then take this artwork and make it my own, because I do like to do that. I like to be able to say I was inspired by. Otherwise, they all look the same. It's like the paint pouring. I got fed up with that because all you do is pour, you know, but then what do you do with it afterwards? And that was the bit I really enjoyed, was working on it afterwards. Can you see now? I'm bringing, don't want to alter it too much. You go out of, because it's set to a focus where I could do that too much and it'll be like sending your boss side. So, see, it will, right, it's out of focus there, but it's not there. Right, so we've got that there. I'm going to go in with the fat pen to another one. Let me just do 3. So I'll start off with the fat pen here. When I was doing this, it reminded me of the way the neurons are fired in your brain. You know, sending messages. So yeah, you wouldn't have seen it with this. It's something I've done. So again, you can see how beautiful it's starting to sort of create atmosphere, and I've got to do one here, so I'm going to do it a little bit more here. So denser, denser, denser. And if you've got a pen like that and you're starting to get it a bit, you know, whatever, roll it. You see? Watch. There you go. See how fine it is? So roll your pen. Right, so I'll do that here as well. And here. Because you don't want it to just cut off. It's like a sore thumb then. But I think I need a bit more here. We call it shot off. You don't want it to look shot off. So, have I got my gold pen? There's a V-ball, that'll do it. I've got my, will my doodles work on this? These have got glitter in them. All your gel pens will work. All your gel glazes, all of them will work. Here's a felt tip. Let's see if this works. A fine one. Oh yes. So the answer to this is you really got to let it cure. That's stabilo, whatever you want to call it. I like this one because it's got like shock absorbers. And then let it come out. Right, so let's have a quick look. Can you see how it needs more there? So I would go back in because it looks a bit. Get all your pens, try them, do your swatches with you. Get your cadence, get your money off them anyway, and then get your cadence, and then get your paints. We'll do another one of these on there, and then let's start to play with them together. It's not finished now. I don't care. I'm not finishing yet. Right, you're not watching this bit now. I'm not showing you this bit. Look at that. Look at that instead. Right, hang on. She says, hang on. Hang on. Oh, here we go. Oh, right, bring it in. I've got to find one that works. Okay, we're going to do the same now, all right? We're going to look at this. Oh, thank you, Tricia. You like my link? Oh, it's gone off now. They do work. There we go. They do work. You get a white pen and then go on it with a white pen, but the bleed proof does. So what I'm going to do is, let me just see. I'm just going to go on with a tiny bit of white. You see the pathways look different again. So I'm not going to do that all over because it'll take time. This is a finer one. This is a jelly roll, but these all work. I'm really liking this. But right, okay, so we've got that. We know that the white works, but we don't want to do that just yet. We want to create something more focal. And I'm going to use a point. I think, let me just check. I think it's 0.5. No, it's not. It's a fine, so it'll be a 0.3. Use a 0.3 tip. And I'm just going to go in with some dots, and I'm doing them. I don't know what the size is. I've got a clue. And I'm just going to go in like a regimented pattern. You do need to let because don't forget, like your black pen is sitting on top. It needs to dry. It's sitting on top of acrylic, so the acrylic itself doesn't want anything over it. So the black pen has got a little bit of absorbing time. It needs absorbing. So you've got to let it do that. So I'll put some dots in. I hope you're enjoying this. I really do, because I can see there's about 50 in one group, but I'm not too sure about the other group. Oh, sorry. Right. Just turn it. Sorry, there was something come up on there and I was trying to get rid of it. Not to be rude, it was just, I didn't want it to forget I had it because it's important to read it. So I'm going to go round and round, round and round, round and round, round and round. So under and over, stop, under and over, like that. Right, I'm going to do it really big for you because I'm seeing that you can't. And these pages, oh, that's terrible there. These pages that I do, these all get worked on. I love all these. So when we're doing this one, I think this has been, well, I can't remember the proper name for it. A bit like that. So then we go like this. I'm not doing it very well, but then we'd go. See a face and a nose there. And then we'd turn it this way and we'd go. Get it? So I'm just going to carry on this. So under, over. And I'm swapping my pens as I want because there's no, I'm not worried about. I know they work. I know they're the same sort of um, density, whatever. So I'll go for that. Right, so try and remember to make it go off a page as well. So here we're going to go. Oh, it's that way, isn't it? That way. No, hang on. I've got to do it right now. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Oh. When you're drawing the other bits, though, you've got to pretend that they're there. That looks awful. Don't like that. So what do? Paint over it if you don't like it. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to put, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to end up liking it now. That don't work. I'm sick of these pens. I need a white pen that works. Oh, it drives me nutty. Come on, white pen. Right, so now I'm taking the emphasis away from the wobbly lines. I'm putting it on the circle. So you're taking the emphasis away from what looks very dodgy. Now, the reason it's not going as white as possible is because it's sat on the top. The ink is mixing with the black that's still wet. So you need a couple of coats. But once you've done that, Bob, your uncle looks miles better now. I still think it needs more, maybe a bit of glitter in it or something. So we've got that there. I'm going to go with another, let's go with another shape. So So we're inventing the shapes in there. And we're just confining it to certain areas, so I'm not going to go mad all over, because otherwise I'm not going to get the impact I want. So I'm using fine lines and I'm going round them, and I am going to colour them in because I think they need it, because I think it would work better. So maybe when you're doing it, add, but don't do it. Or I mean, when you're doing this and you find, oh yeah, I want to do it like that, and there's not an easier way, but a lighter way, or like I only did a fine line and then coloured it in. That is a better way than just going for it and colouring it in case you don't like it. You've not really made that much of an impact. But it's now, you see how it's making, it's cohesive with the lines that we've already done, the neurological lines. Can you see what I mean? This is more cohesive than those wibbly bits, because that doesn't follow that, but this does. It's in the same sort of depth pattern. And there, we're just going to do that, and I'm just going to put some dots in it. Not a lot, just a few. Now, I'm not claiming that I'm the first to do this, but I certainly don't know anyone else who's done it. So, could be that lots of people have done this. I'm certainly not the first to do the neurological one. But now I'm adding like wobbly dots. But I'm only putting them in this area, and then that area, and then maybe one up there. Oh, I'm loving this. Change my 3 dots to coming in now. It's always 3s or 5s. So we've got a very individual pattern coming on up there, but it's actually cohesive. But we do need another bit here. So if we just it's funny, I don't know if I like that one. Yeah, go with it. Teri was saying that she holds her breath. I find that I'm nearly passing out sometimes, holding my breath. Forget to breathe. Put some little dots there. It's not showing up. I keep having to try all these pens. Get one that's awake. Does work, you can see it there. So I've got these like little, looks like a little landscape. I think it needs more on it now. Right, hang on, let me get, is this one working? Yay. That makes it more cohesive now. So we're adding that wonderful neurological art, the pathways. The whole reason that we're doing mindful moodling is giving you time to chill, to sit down. You've got great quality paints that are working. Plus you've got an thingy off, which is cool, money off. But if you get your paints out and then your pens out and you're creating your own little, this is like little planets and places, and I don't know, just really cool. A white pen on it. I might do some more of that because it looks a bit strange. I think I would use a, leave it for a minute. So in here, right, so I've got the circles already in there, so it makes sense to just use them again. So white center, like that. So it's like correlates family shapes and stuff, but we're doing something slightly different with them. So now let's do something on here. So what was one of my other patterns? Where's my patterns? Oh, I know what's nice here. I'm going to get my pen and I'm going to go follow similar lines. Like I'm doing lady parts or a crown. Lady parts. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. Sorry, I don't mean like lady parts. I meant like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like a crown. Why didn't I think of that in the first place? Gosh. Right, so I'm just bringing in the line as I did before. Some pens, when you work with pens, not all of them obviously, but some pens, as you bring layers on layers, they pull the other layers up. So just be mindful of that sometimes, you know, you think you're adding another layer, you're actually going to start pulling the other stuff up. So, you know, be a bit mindful of that. Right, now we've got that, which is, we've got the lines in here, so we now need some. That was the one I was using before. Don't tell me it's gone. Oh, it's ridiculous. Right, go around every one of them with just one. Okay, just one dot like that, and I'll tell you why. Because then you can choose whether you need to put any more on. So here I put 3 like that. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if you want to, you could put some here. But now I need to know. Yeah, it does need it. It needs a definition around that. So I'll put the definition around the main one, which is the first one we did for them all. And then the first, second, and third, that also needs it because that will get lost. But you only need tiny ones for that. And my advice is when that's dry, put another little bit of white on it. Can you see how it works now? You've got a nice little sort of working pattern. So we've got this arriving up here. We've got some here. So we do need some here. So I think just lines and small dots. Lines in between. I'm doing what I would never do normally, and that's going straight in without letting it dry. So, but it is important to let things cure. See, that's not cured, so it looks a bit of a dog's dinner. So this I don't like. So I'm going to take the, that's the wrong one, take the emphasis away from the pattern of the wobbly dots. Yeah, looks more like a hot mess. But no, I could go round that and it's sort of changing it again. I think change the pattern again, and I quite like that. So I'm looking at maybe this is a hot favourite. Flowers. They're not flowers, they're just like dots with stalks. But there we go. And I think we need them here. So this will go from corner upwards, and we're going to go north with this. So I'm just going to put different lines like that, and then I'll go in with this. If you heard that noise, that's someone yawning. Not me. So we've got those like little points there. So we've got 1, 2. I'm not happy about that. So because it's bringing attention to that, and I've not done anything with it yet. So I'm just going to go over it with that. There we go. That's better. So I might join that up there. Oh yeah, that's even better. See what I mean? You can go on for ages adding. But to do that, I then need to do some lines like this. There we go. That's better. So I've got the pattern, but I don't want to leave it like that because it looks a bit shut off. But I've done so much in one little go. I've done the paint base work for this. I've done the neurological lines, which is a real sort of a couple of lessons in their own right. And then we've got the patterning in that. But this is a sample board, so I'm going to do a little bit on this. Not now. Well, I am now. Wow. When we were teaching art and teaching teachers, we used to call this taking your pen for a walk. And you don't allow, because it's scooting across. So you can see, you know, this is Teri who made me think of this, but if you put a nice glaze on the top of this, you know, you can put all the dots you want in that. But then you get it a bit darker, and then you get your dots in, you're going to be like, oh, look, oh, that's gorgeous. So there's like ways of doing it there. I'm going to have to go away and finish it all because I've done so much today. Well, I am going to do 3 more lessons this week, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as me. But what am I doing? I'm sticking my fingers in on paint. Where's that? Oh, not put the lid on my paint. Don't tell anybody. Look. Silly idiot. Where's that come from? Not the pen, is it? No. Just to show you. Found out where it is, look. Shh, don't tell anyone. Pick it up with a 50p piece, you daft idiot. Where's that come from? Shh, don't tell anyone. Oh, look at that. Right, got to get me. Oh gosh, what a nightmare. Right, I'm gonna. Oh, it's all over me now. Get my book. I'm gonna lift some of the colour here. So it's a bit lighter. Oh, I like that. There we go. That's the colour, the lighter one. This is darker one, so I'm gonna anything that's left in here is gonna go in here, lighten it up. There we go, lightening it up, lovely. Right, I've made it right. Oh, look at this, it's everywhere. What have I done here? Plonker. What an absolute plonker. Oh. Oh, don't be laughing there. Oh, it's all over my top. Oh, for crying out loud. Up my arms, you name it. You know what the answer to that one is? Put the lid on your stuff properly. Why is that not going down? Oh, it's a screw top. Right, I'm going before I cause too much damage. Look at the state of me. Look at the state of this now. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. The last bit was free. The, oh, it's here as well. The last bit of hilarity was free. So I'm going to go away and I will see you probably Wednesday. But definitely I'm going to be working. It could be different times this week, just so I can fit it in around everything else and all the wonderful lives that we've already got in. You know, I'm conscious that we need to give those people doing those lives as much time as possible if they want to go over. So I'm not going to rush them. So they come first. But anything else with me and the patrons, they come first for me, sort of thing. So yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go before I've really confusing everybody and make it a right pig's ear. So any questions? Let me have a. You can always watch it again. This is, whenever you want. Any questions, ask me. Well, I mean properly about this. If you want to know how the inside leg measurement, I ain't going to tell you that. But yeah, if you want to know anything or if any of the team can know. But don't forget, we've got some absolutely amazing lives coming up on Junk Journals and Mindful Mixed Media Art. If you look on my channel and you look on the YouTube, LuTube, and that you'll see there's a code for Highlight Crafts, Lu15 in caps. You get 15% off the collection of paints. They're absolutely brilliant. So I will say bye-bye for now. Thank you for your support and your company. And it's going to take me an hour to clean up now, but never mind, Take care. Thanks for your support. See you in a couple of days. Bye. Oh, this paint is everywhere. Oh, everywhere. With it.